You are watching a master at work.
What's happening, people? It's Steve Merkel here, or Merk for short. Hope y'all are having a wonderful day so far. Today's video is going to be episode 1 of Crota's Inn Raid Guide, which will entail a strategy guide, I guess, or tips, tricks, strategy, whatever you want to call it, on the first couple parts of the Crota's Inn Raid on normal mode. This guy will go through, the first jumping bridge, the lamps, and then the next bridge. And then in a couple days, I'll cover the rest of the raid. But right now, we're just going to get into those couple parts. So let's get started. So right when you jump in, or spawn in, I should say, there's like a sink plate looking thing. And then it's just a, nothingness, like a mountain valley or something. All 6 players need to stand on this sink plate. And slowly, a bridge will start to build, as you see. And then once the bridge is fully built, you jump down. Now, you'll just keep jumping and falling, and just falling and falling into nothing. And eventually, you'll see respawn restricted. And that is when you want to kind of hit the brakes and start to prepare for the land. Now, once you land and, you hit that hard surface, you'll probably be, almost dead. You look up and you'll see like this white glowing light, which we'll call lamps. And the directions are like traverse the abyss or something like that. And so what you want to do, the goal of this is to blow up the lamps, right? So to blow up the lamps, you go into the lamp, stand near it, and wait a couple seconds. And so you want to go to the first lamp, as you see, and you want to keep going to the other lamps. But when you get to the lamp, you want to stay around it. And what this also does, other than blowing up the lamp and killing nearby enemies, and also your teammates and yourself if you stay there for too long, but it gets rid of the debuff that you get, which is called Weight of Darkness. So Weight of Darkness, you can't jump, you start moving slower and slower, and every couple seconds it just stacks, and you just can't run, and it's just a bunch of thralls chasing you. It's pretty crazy. And you stand near each lamp, and it slowly gets rid of that debuff. So you go to the first lamp, you stand by it, get rid of the debuff, and when the light starts to fade, that's when you're like, okay, next lamp, and then you go to the next lamp. By the time you got to the next lamp, the debuff is already near, times 6, times 7, and stacking. You get to the next lamp, you hover over it, defend it a little bit, and then the debuff starts going away, and it explodes, and so on. So our strategy for this is we had one guy that would always be the first in line. In this case, it was Frick. He would always lead the way. And when he got to the lamp, he would immediately check and call out which way the next lamp was. So for instance, we get to the first lamp, he's looking left, looking right, trying to find the next lamp to get to, and he calls it out to us. Hey guys, the next lamp is straight. So we know the next lamp is straight. We don't have to worry about looking for it or anything, and we can just kill the enemies. He is the one that will also let us know when the light starts to dim. And then once the light starts to dim, he's like, okay guys, move, and then we know to go straight and always follow him. Once we get to the second lamp, he's like, okay, it's left, guys. And we start killing the enemies, turning around, killing enemies. And then once the light starts to dim and it's about to explode, he's like, okay, guys, let's go left. And just so on until you get to the next part. A couple tips I have is you want to run fusion rifles, shotguns. The Vex Mythoclast did absolute wonders for me. I would recommend heavy machine guns opposed to rocket launchers because you're standing really close to each other and you probably will kill each other, although rocket launchers will come in handy at the end of this. I would get as many Titan defenders as you can. You want those bubble shields for the end of this phase as well. And that's pretty much it. You want close counter specials, Blade Dancer. Fist of Havoc is pretty good, but I would run with Defender. The Void Walker, probably not. You want to be running Sunsinger so you can revive. And that's pretty much it. You just go from lamp to lamp, and I would appoint someone to lead, and maybe appoint someone to always follow up the rear just to call out, anything like that. Sometimes you'll get some knights, but for the most part, it's just thralls. After you get like 10, 12, 15 lamps deep, you'll come to another portal like where you spawned in at, and it's a sink plate type deal. All players will stand on that sink plate, and I think the debuff still happens in this. So you're still moving slower and slower, and then enemies just come. And as you stand on this sink plate and hold it down, a bridge will start to build in the back of you. Once the bridge is fully built, you run through the bridge that was just built, and you're on to the next phase. This is where I said the defender and, rockets will come in handy, because ogres, knights, all kind of thralls, exploding thralls, all that will be thrown at you. And you just want to pop bubbles and, disorient the enemies if you have the helmet that allows you to do that with the defender. That came in really handy throughout this raid. And after you built the bridge, you go into, and now we're on the next phase, which I would just call the bridge phase. So with the bridge phase, it gets a little confusing, so bear with me. And also, this was my first time running the raid. So there's things that we didn't do in this particular instance or run through that we now would do because we know better running it multiple times. So when you first spawn in, you see that it's like 2 parts of land separated by like a half-made bridge. And there's 3 sink plates, one on the left, one on the right, and one on the middle. I'm going to call them sink plates just because it's familiar, like the Vex. And so to build the bridge, people stand on the sink plates, at least 2 in the middle, I think. No, I think it's just 1. I think we've had 1 on each plate. So just 1 person on each plate has to be there, and the bridge will be built. And the only way to get across the bridge is with a sword that the sword barrier, sword bringer, something like that. He's called something. He's got a big sword, and it's just an ad that spawns like every 10 seconds or every couple minutes, I think, actually. Not 10 seconds. But so you're holding the sink plates, building the bridge. The bridge will just, it'll be built, after maybe 20 seconds, 10 seconds of holding it. And then that ad will come. You kill that ad, get a sword, and then you can go across to the other side. And there's gatekeepers over there that only the sword can do damage on. So we actually didn't kill the gatekeepers. We didn't think we could kill them because it just kept saying immune. But come to find out, the sword can damage the gatekeepers and you can kill them. So I would recommend killing them. We didn't, but hey, it just made it tougher. And so you just do that 1 by 1. You get the sword, the ad spawns, you kill the ad, you get the sword, you go across. Once 3 people are over there, now it's time for them to hold the portal open, and the other guys, the other 3 that are on the original side, it's them to come across. And each time you kill the sword barrier or sword bringer or whatever that ad is called that drops the sword, a gatekeeper will spawn in on the other side. So if, since we now know that you can kill these gatekeepers with the sword, 1 person gets the sword, goes across, kills the gatekeeper, there's no gatekeepers, The next person kills the ad, gets the sword, goes across, kills that gatekeeper that just spawned because that sword was dropped by that ad. There's no more gatekeepers. And that'll make this really, really easier than what we did. So once you get 3 people over there and 3 people on the original spot, same thing. The 3 people that are over there across the way will just hold those 3 sink plates over there. And, every once in a while that ad will spawn. And the teams over there don't have to hold any plates. They're just staying alive, killing the sword, the ad that brings the sword, and then 1 by 1 going across. Just a couple tips right here. What we did is we noticed that on the left and right sink plate, on the cross side of the bridge, not the original side, the cross side, the left and right sink plate, if you stand right in the middle, the gatekeepers won't come there and kill you. They will get real close to you and then won't swing their sword. They'll just back away. So we would stay right there to hold it. And then right when the sword ad was about to die on the original side, a Titan would go in and pop his bubble on the middle sink plate. And that's how we would hold it. But of course, we can kill the gatekeepers. We know that now, so that's what you should be doing. Once you get all players on the other side, and we actually did it with only 5 players on the across the bridge. 1 was still left over and this started happening. But in the other raids I've done, you have to get all 6 across. You get all 6 across, and then ogres start spawning, witches, all kind of crazy stuff. And once those ogres spawn, you kill those 2 ogres, and it's over. You beat it, the door opens, and that's it. But like I said, it was kind of weird. We had 5 across and 1 still stuck on the original side, and those ogres spawned. So I'm not sure if it's a time thing, but I would concentrate on getting all 6 players across just in case. And this is going to take a lot of practice. You probably won't get it the first time. We got lucky. This part only probably took us an hour. We got it down pat pretty good, and like I said, we got lucky. It started when only 5 were on the opposite side, the cross side, not the original side. Only 5 players got across and it started, so that was crazy. But the main points is, it's 3 sink plates that you have to hold on the original side, and then once you get 3 people across the bridge, 1 by 1, then it's those 3 sink plates that have to be held. And again, you know, only the guy that has the sword can get across the bridge. So you have to go one by one. And also a little tip, when the bridge is being built on the bottom left of the screen, when it is complete, it will say, you know, the bridge is built, right? On the bottom left of the screen in white, it'll say the bridge is built, or the bridge build complete, or whatever. And that is not true. Like, it'll say it on the bottom left, bridge build complete. And then you'll try to go across the bridge with the sword and you'll just die. So you want to wait until you actually see the bridge complete, because that is just going to throw you off. And it's usually like 3 seconds after that displays that the bridge is actually built. Okay guys, well that wraps up today's video. I really hope you enjoyed. Part 2 will probably be coming, you know, tomorrow or the next day. We've gotten to Crota, so I'm thinking part 2 will be up to Crota, and then part 3 will be Crota and the rest of the raid. But hopefully that'll be coming in the next couple days. Please leave a like if you enjoyed today's video and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Also, feel free to ask me any questions or let me know what you think of the video in the comment section below. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Later, daters.